we are joined by retired New York State Supreme Court Justice Penny Wolfgang. It is great to have you here.
Hi, thank
you. For coming in.
My pleasure.
So let's just begin. What is your general reaction to this unanimous decision?
My general reaction is that it's no decision at all, and people should not be using it for any precedent or for any other related matter to do with abortion, to do with anything, because the court's ruling was, you're in the wrong place, guys. We don't have any standing. You should not be in federal court on this matter whatsoever. If you're questioning something that the FDA, a ruling of the FDA, you have to either appeal to the FDA. If you don't like the underlying purpose of, the pill, whatever you're complaining about, go to the legislature, go to even the president, but not us, because you do not have standing at this point, meaning you don't have a reason, a cause that the court can hear.
Do you think the court saw this as the act for which it was, or the purpose for which this was brought to the high court, which mifepristone, abortion, the topic, the pill, all of it has been politicized, right? And so in bringing this action to the court, were they not asking the court to side with them on what has become a political issue? And the court said, no thanks, this isn't us.
They were.
Which is good,
but
right?
The court wasn't having any of it. And they even say this may be a political issue, this may be a social issue, but this does not belong in a federal court.
How did it get before the federal court?
It had a lot of steps to get there, and a lot of other lower courts ruled incorrectly in federal court that it should be there.
Judge, you said something interesting during our commercial break about what this could have done had the justices sided with the folks who brought this case. You talked about a bad precedent. What did you mean by that?
Yes, it would have been a bad precedent, because if there was any other decision of the FDA that any other pill, like during COVID, let's say, they approved something and they go through all the stages and the FDA has jurisdiction, and then what if they ruled, okay, this pill is not good, or this pill is not allowed? Well, then they would use it as precedent for any other pills or any other medications. And it's really, the FDA has their processes, and we have to abide by them. And the court said we have to abide by them. It's not a question of the federal court interfering.
Right.
So do you think there will be other things brought to courts related to mifepristone?
Well, they can, but a person perhaps was injured, was injured and would have a stake. I'm not saying it would get to federal court necessarily, but there could be other ways that they're going to try to get around it. But as it stands now, I don't see a federal court issue.
Do you think the legal community would look positively on the justice's decision today, or with this particular case, because they did recognize the politicization of it, they did recognize the social aspect of it, and said the legal part of our country is not where this should be settled.
That's right.
It should be settled. I mean, that's a little different than what we've come to expect for this mostly conservative court over the past several months, right?
I think both sides, any side, should have respect for the court on this decision, because they said the Constitution, Article 3, says this court does not have jurisdiction, you do not have standing, we cannot hear this case, and they were just going by the law, which is what we would expect.
So what do you make? Here we are about 2 years after the overturn of Roe v. Wade. I believe the court is also looking at another case determining doctors and emergency care to patients. What do you make of the tide of everything right now?
A lot of that depends on the constitutional and legal issues, whether it's going to go to the Supreme Court, whether it's going to be a matter that somebody, like you said, a doctor, for example, might have standing if he was forced to prescribe this pill, let's say. So there's other ways that they might get around it, but I don't know what they're going to do.
And
don't ask me.
And a lot of people are feeling the exact same way. And June is a very important month with the High Court, because that is when a lot of the written decisions are issued, June, and usually in the fall, I believe. So there could be some of those decisions that are coming down the pipe this month, and hopefully we'll have you back and talk about some of those decisions.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to, and I'll know the answer.
We would love to have you back. Judge, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's send it over to Todd for another check of the forecast.